Are all Labour politicians just liars? I mean, they just constantly talk, but all of it's lies. Today, Yvette Cooper has came out in an interview and just lied and made fool of herself with regard to the migrant situation. Her ass is getting jealous of her mouth, with the amount crap that comes out of it. However, as always, the internet has picked up on it and she has been blasted. We will discuss this in today's video, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. Labour Home Secretary Yvette Cooper has come under fire for putting a positive spin on small boat crossings after claiming numbers have been significantly lower than in previous years. One of Keir Starmer's key pledges was to smash the criminal gangs and crack down on the dangerous crossings made by migrants after scrapping the previous government's Rwanda scheme. Speaking ahead of a summit with the Prime Minister and law enforcement officials on the small boats issue, Cooper told broadcasters, "We have this dangerous situation. The criminal gangs are undermining border security and putting lives at risk. In the first half of the year, the number of crossings that we inherited from the previous government were at a record high for spring crossings. The numbers for July and August have been lower than in previous years, but we have also seen lives being lost, and we still see these criminal gangs operating along the North French coast. Those gangs should not be able to get away with it, and that's why we are determined to go after them." Hitting out at the Home Secretary, Alp Mehmet, chairman of Migration Watch UK, argued that the Labour government have not done or said anything to deter the amount of boats crossing in their short stint in power. Mehmet said, "This is putting a positive spin on a lamentable situation. Nothing Yvette Cooper and Keir Starmer have done or said so far has had any impact on the flow of small boats. The threat to smash the gangs simply encourages them to stuff the flimsy vessels. Thousands more will come and, sadly, many more will die trying to get here. I can only echo Mehmet has said, but she is taking absolute nonsense and the migrant situation has been the worst it has ever been under this Labour government. At least 12 migrants died off the northern French coast on Tuesday, trying to cross the English Channel in the deadliest small boat crossing disaster so far this year. French Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said the people were believed to have been from Eritrea, and most of the victims were women. Prior to Tuesday's incident, there have been at least 19 deaths in 2024, including 9 since the start of July, according to the French Coast Guard. In 2023, 12 migrants are thought to have died attempting the crossing or were recorded as missing. When asked where asylum seekers would be housed, now the government has abandoned plans to use RAF Scampton as accommodation. Cooper said, "We have seen this really shameful increase in the asylum backlog under the Conservatives that we inherited. We also saw much lower returns, way lower returns, than under the last Labour government. So the action that we have immediately taken is to significantly increase the number of returns since the general election, and we are also working now to close the backlog so that we can end these very costly asylum hotels, and also, in the case of Scampton, that was incredibly costly for this single site, that was also strongly opposed in the local community as well." What are your thoughts on Cooper talking crap? Let me know in the comments. In other news, a 77-year-old grandmother has sustained injuries to the head after being sent tumbling to the ground in a confrontation with a pro-Palestine man. Pauline Durant had been supporting her husband, Paul, who has been on hunger strike for 34 days, protesting the injustice he sees between cuts being made to the winter fuel allowance for pensioners, while illegal migrants are housed in heated hotels. A video posted to social media shows a man approaching Paul, his wife and their pensioner friends, sat at the site of the daily protest, where Paul flies British, English and Israeli flags. After what appears to have been an aggressive exchange, Pauline can be heard shouting, "Move now!" The man responds, "No!" A physical tussle then ensues, and Pauline sent to the ground, banging her head on the pavement. The grandmother said in an interview she regrets the exchange. "I felt totally threatened, but I made a big mistake there, kicking him and swearing." Pauline has made a public apology for her involvement and says police are trying to locate the other man in the video. Paul says he was shaken by the exchange. "It was frightening. That was the worst incident I've had since I've been down there. The guy came out of nowhere." But more than a month without food had left the grandfather frail and less able to intervene. I'm starting to feel weaker now, and I haven't got the same amount of go as I used to. Paul took to Blackpool seafront in August, vowing not to eat until the government got a handle on illegal immigration and reversed proposals to cut pensioner benefits. Last month, the grandfather had been harangued by a young Palestine protester who menaced him with chants of "Fatah's Israel." This incident, however, resulting in injury to his beloved wife, has given Paul cause for concern. It makes me fearful of continuing my protest. Pensive of the tolerant Britain the retiree once knew, he sighed, "You never know what you're going to encounter any time you're out." People used to disagree and walk away, parting amicably. Now people want to push their way of thinking on us. He added, "There were people out, walking past. Nobody came to help." Paul yearns for the thriving community Blackpool once knew. He remembers an established Jewish presence that has all but vanished. He flies the Israeli flag daily next to his Union Jack, which represents his sadness at what has been lost and his solidarity with persecuted Jews across the world. The pensioner was incredulous at how articulating his opinion on the state of the country could invite such aggression, saying, "These people do not like me flying my Israeli flag. In Blackpool, we had a strong Jewish community with all sorts of businesses. We have none now. These people do not like Jewish people. That is racism, isn't it?" Paul says he abhors political violence and wants to be left alone to peacefully protest. "I don't go confronting Palestinian people flying their flag. We're supposed to live in a free country." Reflecting on the challenges presented to those trying to speak their mind in modern Britain, the pensioner then corrects himself. "No, we don't live in a free country." The hunger-striking pensioner has vowed he will not eat until Labour abandon their proposal to cut winter fuel payments for pensioners. Pauline worries about the strain the protest is taking on her husband's health. "I find the protest is very upsetting. I think we're too old for it, but Paul is a very determined man. I want him to slow down and stop." Yet she is not in the business of telling her husband what to do, countering, "We're independent. We've been married 57 years and it works." The grandmother added, "It all depends on Tuesday. If the vote on cutting winter fuel payments goes our way, he will eat." Lancashire Police did not respond to a request for comment. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.